Fellas,
All
we're
right.
back. We're back. Here we
We're
go.
back. We are
Let's
back.
do it. Why didn't we have a podcast? Like, what happened?
There's no
Nothing
football.
happened.
Nothing happened.
This is
Yeah,
true. Nothing happened. When there's no EPL soccer, nothing happens.
right.
That's it.
I actually don't exist during those breaks.
Where do you go? Like, did you just
There's
pause?
no.
Is it like the snap or something like that?
It's I'm just not.
I
Okay.
visited my in-laws last weekend.
Hershey, let's go.
Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Proper Friday Night Light, right? Like proper,
Oh,
like
yeah.
actual.
Friday. Yeah, absolutely. Like high school football, Friday night, cheerleaders, cowbells, concession stand, the whole thing.
Is it a good watch? Was it a good? Like, let's say, obviously you're there. You're there
hmm
because you got family there.
Is high school football a good watch? I think
I think
I
we need to
think
get more local here. Was that a good watch?
was that a good watch? So what was interesting about it is that we did not just go to see Hershey high school football. We also went to see Hershey girls soccer the following day. And so I got to see like an A/B test of my fandom. Someone who used to be obsessed with American football and is now obsessed with European football. Let's put it to the test
Mhm.
by watching some like not particularly entertaining teams play each other. Um, and I found that I was much more interested in the strategy and like the on-field happenings of the girls soccer, even though it was probably lower quality than the boys football. There were no
Striking.
bicycles in the game and there were no attempted bicycles in the game, which was
Well,
a bit of a
that's a
disappointment. But I
waste of a
think
whole Saturday.
I would imagine that
Exactly.
if you attempt a bicycle at the high school level, you're probably sitting the next week. Philosophical question for you.
Oh god. Here we go.
Do you ever get tired of winning?
I don't understand what you've asked me a version of this question before.
Yeah.
I don't understand the question.
What do you
How,
mean?
how do you get tired of it? Are you
I
kidding
think
me?
I think that there are ways to tire of anything, even if it's a positive thing. I think if
Sure. Sure, but I'm still like 10 years away from that. Let's keep going. Let's keep piling them up. Because I also understand the the way this works. The way this works is that we're not going to be good at some point.
hmm
Like Pep
hmm
is going to leave, Holland will leave, people will retire, somebody will get angry for money, and there's going to be a day that we're not good. Like will suck. Or even like when I first started watching and it was just like we were like this little brother and we couldn't and this huge monolithic team was
hmm
just all in that area and just sucked up all the oxygen there. Like I remember those days. And they didn't last long because then right after that we got bought out. But like those those times sucked. Like they suck.
hmm
And like I know how you got like I know it's a little harder for me because it's like it hasn't happened in a while, but like that whole watching the Sunday and then just being so absolutely pissed at your team because like you just played so horribly. Like I'm glad that I haven't felt that in a while. And I don't want to make it, I don't want to go back to it. Like I want to just keep on going. Like just keep winning. Like no, I want it, I want more of it. I want go, keep going. And I
I feel like
love,
you and I have always espoused like different versions of fandom,
yep.
and there's something in me that needs fandom to be a challenge. Like I don't need it to be hard, but I feel like it and we'll get to the we'll get to the Red Sox. Um but like I feel like maybe because of the Red Sox, I almost like need to like overcome. I need to like get over that hump. And I've left teams before because they have gotten over that hump and proven that they can win consistently, and like found other teams to follow because they are more of a challenge. And there are other reasons for that. It's not like I'm just like picking teams at random. I mean, I grew up as a Red Sox fan, lifelong Red Sox fan, lived and died with the Red Sox for many, many years. And then 20 years ago, they won. And then they won again. And then they won again. And then they won again. And it got boring for me. For me, it got boring. And so I like picked the Pirates, local team who like hadn't won in a while. And, still, still rooting for the Pirates, 10, 10, 11 years later. But um, for me, it just I don't know. If I was if the shoe was on the other foot, and the shoe will probably never be on the other foot, but if the shoe is on the other foot,
You don't know that. You don't know that. The next 10 games. Here we go. Let's go. I'm in for it. I'm in for the Spurs revival. Here we go. It's gonna
I've never
happen.
heard of that team.
Oh, sorry. But this is also the thing I don't understand about you specifically. Like, I don't understand how you can give up the team. That's the one I
Mhm.
don't understand. I don't understand to give up. I, I've been blessed. Like, I love Man City
You haven't been
and
that
I love the
blessed.
Giants, and I love some people will be listening to me.
You love
Giants,
the
Giants,
Knicks
Giants.
and the Mets
Well,
too.
guess what? I like for my whole youth. They were awesome, and they
Yeah.
won. They won 4 Super Bowls. Now the Knicks, there's a hole, but I like whatever. I'm never gonna stop loving the Knicks. I don't care what happens, but like you can just let go of it. Like you
Yeah.
can just let go of the Sox, even though like when I first met you, it was like such a big part of knowing you as a person. Like it was such a big part, and then now all of a sudden it's not. It's just gone. But like I can't do that. Like
Mhm.
I pretend like I don't care about the Giants, and then I'm grading papers yesterday on the couch, and I'm watching them lose to the Commanders, and I'm so angry, like just so like rage, and I was like, God, and I had to get up and go, and I had to get up and go to the bathroom. I'm 48. I should not care this much.
Teams for me are like friendships, and like some friendships last forever and some friendships last a couple years. And some friendships that you grew up with as a kid go away when you go off to college, or when you graduate from
Devin, stop
college, or
shaking your head. Don't do
when you
that.
move
Don't
away.
start shaking your head.
Devin's on my team with
Don't
this.
agree
Devin
with him.
fully understands what I'm saying.
Devin, please, the floor is yours.
I think for me though, I just abandon whole sports at a time. Like it's just like when I was done with American football, I never looked back. I still haven't looked back. When I was done with baseball, in theory, I could come back to that. My kids are kind of into baseball, and so that might bring it back, but it hasn't so far. I
Wait,
think that
there was a time you like baseball?
Oh, Devin was into the Red Sox with me.
yeah,
Not a chance.
because
2003, 2004. Yeah.
It was like
I'd
a
gone to
week.
school in
It was like a week.
Massachusetts.
It was like 2 weeks. You're lying.
It was like
No
maybe
way.
3 years, three
Yeah.
years tops.
It's about 3 years.
It's like, I went to school in Massachusetts, you pick up a little bit of interest, but I didn't know baseball, right? And so it was like, okay, yeah, Red Sox, this is cool the way people like this team. And then I met Jay, right? Like, a week after I moved away from Massachusetts. And yeah, so it was like, before they had won a World Series, it was in that couple year run up to winning that was incredible to watch. And so it was like, very intense. And then I went to grad school and it was like there were no sports for me then. There was no time for anything. And then it just never went back to baseball. And then once there was a deal to get the Premier League on TV in the US, I was like, finally. And then that's it. So it's that and Olympic breaking are my two sports now.
I think you are a classic fan, and I don't, I'm not saying that like my viewpoint should be the default of all fandom. Like you are the default. You are like the born with a team. You love that team until you're dead, win or lose, no matter what. If you win 20 times, you win 20 times. If you lose 20 times, you lose 20 times.
Most of my fandom was decided by 1987.
Hmm. I feel like my fandom is still up for grabs.
Still taking bids?
Yeah. I'm not, I think there's something like, what's the word I'm looking for here? Unconditional. Unconditional is the word I'm looking for. That like there's
Traitorous
this.
is really what I will say. It's traitorous. That's what it is. Like you can't abandon them. That's it. You picked them, and now that's it. You're stuck with them for
There
good or
is
for better or
little
for
in
worse.
my life. There are very few relationships in my life that exist unconditionally, and a fucking sports team is not one of them.
I'll never understand.
Unconditional, like truly unconditional.
Yeah. Like Benny is a Mets fan unconditionally. You know what that means? Benny is a Knicks fan unconditionally. You know what that means? They're
So
never going to win.
so many heartbreak. Don't do that. You don't know that. I've had this conversation too with Devin separately from you two, where he talks about I just don't like. It's so hard for me to understand. I don't know how you turn it off. Like I don't really watch the Mets that much, but as soon as I start watching, I'm in. Like I'm in.
Mhm.
I'm there. I sent you that reel the other day with that All Star team and with the 1,000 Mets that were on there, and I'm just like, no wonder I love this team. Like we were incredible back then. Cocaine just took it all away from us, but that was it.
Oh, 1986.
Little booger sugar just took it all away. It's done.
Why isn't baseball a cocaine-friendly sport?
I don't know. I'm here for it.
Football, both kinds, you can do great on cocaine.
I think we need to open that door up.
I feel like cocaine really plays in sports where there are constant motion, but it would be really interesting in baseball to see like 9 dudes out there just like totally tweaked, standing just as still as they could try
Wired.
to stand on television with no one else around them. That would, I think, be why cocaine would
Yeah, okay. Okay.
happen in baseball.
This is a good time
Maybe
to mention the perfect game on acid. What's that guy's name? Doc something?
Doc, whatever his name is.
Doc Ellis.
So baseball's an acid sport.
Yeah. Yeah.
If I say we're putting more cocaine in, are you then back in,
In
Devin?
a baseball?
Yes.
I think I've talked myself into the LSD angle now. I think
Yeah,
if
no,
the
I think
players are dosed,
That's it.
a, a whole side just seeing their souls out there, like that's that's what I'm here for.
constant motion sports, those are for narcotics. Baseball feels like a hallucinogenic sport.
that pitch is gonna look so big. It's gonna be just like coming at you. It's coming right at me.
I'll tell you what, man. I played frisbee on acid one time, and like I felt like I had 20 minutes between when the disc was thrown to me
what
and
was
when I had to catch it.
what was actually the real time? Was it just like
And
a
it's just
normal
normal frisbee. We were
five
we
to
were
6 seconds?
2, 3 seconds.
yeah. I mean, we were 20 feet away from each other, and I felt like I could do anything. I felt like I could get. I did. I caught it behind my back, between my legs. I had no no real experience. I just felt like I had all the time in the world to catch it any way I wanted to. It was great.
You're like a show dog doing tricks.
Yeah, it was awesome. Let's get Doc Ellis on the show.
I don't. Is Doc Ellis still with us? He
I don't
seems.
know. I don't
Let's,
know. I'm gonna go ahead and say yes.
Doc Ellis
Dudes like that.
was
Dudes like that survive.
2008.
Okay.
2008. All right.
Yeah, you just got to look for that first word on Wikipedia. Is or was. That's all you're looking for.
R.I.P.
We're not going to discuss the X's and O's of what happened with Spurs and Arsenal.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about that. What
We're
I
going
will
right in.
ask,
We're going right in.
we're going right to the big topic.
Let's go. Let's jump in.
Notably, I mean, Pep never needs any time to figure anything out when he gets there. He immediately starts winning. Bayern, Barcelona, City, obviously. Um, Klopp needed time to figure it out at Liverpool. Arteta hasn't won shit yet at Arsenal, even though they treat him like he's Pep Guardiola. So he's needed some time to figure it out, and he's gotten that time at Arsenal. There were never really any questions about his job, but we're already starting to call a little bit, not much, but we're already starting to call a little bit for Ange's job, like 50 games into his career at Spurs. I am not one of those people. Devin, I'm going to guess you're not one of those people.
I'm one of those people. Arteta finished what 8-5 in his first 3 seasons,
That sounds
something
about
like
right.
that. I think the thing about Ange is he's better at bragging than most people. He's better at coming out swinging. He's better at being
Setting
relentlessly
expectations. Let's
steadfast.
say setting expectations.
Sure, setting a clear and firm expectation of where he's going to be and what he's going to do, and not backing down under any circumstances. And you're going to be in the line of fire, right, when it doesn't work. And with this team in particular, people are going to be impatient. People are going to be waiting for the next shoe to drop, the
Mhm.
Spursy shoe, and he's suffering from that. I don't think it's soon enough to draw any real conclusions. I mean, I have my own anxieties about it, but it just needs time to cook.
Benny, how long do you give a manager?
I don't think he's anywhere near a fireable manager at this point. You do have to win.
Mhm.
You're at a club that you do have to win. Like you can't. There's a certain level you can't go to. Like I still don't know how has his job anymore because I feel like he passed that threshold.
He
A
won't be
But
a
couple
fake knight.
times. Yeah.
yeah, like a couple times. I still don't understand how he has a job, but whatever, he has a job.
Stick to the plan.
But if you're gonna show that kind of pages at arguably the biggest, most important club, or one, it used to be anyway, then you definitely have to have it here. And if you're going to try to, what I always understood the change to be is this is a culture change. Like we're getting rid of the demons.
That's right.
Like we're bringing in some dudes, the Red Sox equivalent, Kurt Schilling. Like I don't care, Pedro Martinez. I'll throw a fastball right at Babe Ruth's ass. Like I don't care. Like if you're gonna do that, then you have to give it some time. You have to give it some time. And I'm sorry, like those the way the British media covers some of this stuff and
Hmm.
how they outwardly attack like managers, especially like those after the game forced press conferences that they have, behind the the
Yeah,
weird
with the
background with a
logos behind. Yeah.
Puma and whatever, there's 1,000 different logos, and they're just out there throwing like lobs, just literally just javelins right at people, like right in your face, and they just sit there like, and then they'll give you the answer, we got the tactics and blah blah this, and then sometimes he's just like, no, I don't care who you are, like I'm confident in what I do. This is what I do. We're gonna play this high line. We're gonna go here, and if you don't like it, fine. And if I get fired from because I do it, so be it. Like I
Right.
don't care.
It's a very British thing that has always mystified me. Like, you ever watch like the House of Commons
Hmm.
or where they're debating and they are just tearing each other apart. And
C-SPAN, Penny. Get on our level. C-SPAN.
if those two people saw each other on the street, there would be zero affect. It would be pure courtesy. And then you get them in as a public figure or into like a debate context, and it's like we're more polite as Americans in that context until somebody like upsets the political balance. We don't have to get too deep, but it's wild to see. It's wild to see how they attack.
I think in general, one thing that is always like mystified me about not necessarily. I mean, yeah, of course we can talk about the British media and the tabloids and things like that. Um, and how they affect everything that happens in that country. But with like football managers in particular, there's such a short leash. Like more often than not, people are getting fired sometimes like within the span of a season, or they're only given like a season and in a couple games before they're sacked and somebody else is brought in. How many managers have Spurs gone through in the last like 5-6 years? It's crazy.
They don't
And
need a new one.
no, we don't need a new one. And comparatively, like there are very, very few American teams in any sport that I can think of that run through managers like English or like European football teams run through managers.
That is the thing. Let's say we run out of patience for Ange. We lose 3 more. What's plan B?
Right. Who's out there? Gareth Southgate? Like, get out of here. Like,
Yeah.
If you don't like the high line, why don't you try the really push back line where your striker ends up at the CDM spot? That's football. That's football. That's the Southgate style.
if you don't
Are you
like your
ready for
center
that?
backs in the offensive
Exciting.
half, get ready for strikers in your own half.
5 wide in the back. Here we go.
Fellas, the soccer internet has been ablaze the last several weeks with a gentleman who I'm not sure where he is. I'm not sure where he lives, but he's been seen now multiple times
Is it me?
wearing
I
wearing
know where you're going.
Adidas Predators, gold, all gold Adidas Predators
Oh, yeah.
with like street clothes, with like normal clothing. Um, which of us do you think is the likeliest to wear soccer boots with normal clothes? I think it's Devin.
I think it's me, but by accident. Like, I forgot to take them off before I got on the subway.
I don't think so. I don't think that's what it is. I think
Is it full
you
spikes that he's
Yeah,
wearing?
no, it's full I think it's full spike. They don't make those without spikes unless he's, like, sanding them off, which would require, like I mean, that's another level if he's, like, modifying them beyond just so he can wear them as street shoes.
I mean,
Here's why the answer is Devin.
how
You
is it not
wouldn't do
you
it by
though?
mistake. It's because you would find some practical use
Mm.
that soccer boots fill and justify it and wear them out of the house, and I think I would imagine that you would do this with, like, very old soccer boots. Like, you would be like, "I need shoes that do X." "Oh, I got my old soccer boots from, like, 11 years ago,"
Yeah.
and wear some, like, 2008 Nike Tiempos or whatever, like,
I
to
think that
work,
I think
or,
that's
like, on a
exactly
date.
what I have. I think that's exactly what they are, and I think I might even be awfully close to the year.
What's the practical use for them though?
They
Like,
got
what do you
spikes,
do? What
Benny.
do you? How can you even
I
like?
think
I'm
if
now in my head.
you're
Like, what are you doing? Are you running in the park? Like, what? I don't understand.
I think if you're scaling like a cinder block wall and you want something to grab onto the grout
This
gutters.
No, they got they got the stiff foot plate, good support.
Mhm.
I'm sure,
very noisy, very
yeah, a
noisy.
little noisy, not very, like, stealth.
I don't quite get the look. I was watching it. I watched so many different reels of that dude because I was just interested. Like, but it just I get. I mean, look, if you can pull it off, you pull it off. It's whatever.
Here's
You
what
can
it
wear
is,
what
I
you want to wear.
think, is that, like, soccer boots in Europe, certain soccer boots in Europe have that, like, Air Jordan level, like, aura about them. Predators are certainly one of those boots. Like, a lot of very famous Adidas athletes over the years have worn various versions of Predators. And, like, but you can't wear them. You know? You can't wear them unless you're, like, on the pitch. Whereas, like, Jordans, we've always been wearing Jordans, like, to school and on dates, and since I wore Jordans to prom. But it's like, if I grew up in England and I saw my heroes wearing, like, Predators, I'd be like, "Damn it, I wanna wear Predators to prom."
Yeah.
What does that dance floor sound like? Like, there's no way. Like that, like the clickety clack.
Yeah, right, it's like Riverdance.
Listen, I would have said you. I would have said you just because you're just like, no, I can pull this off. Like I can do it.
I'm the likeliest to own gold Predators. Devan is the likeliest to wear them in public.
Right. But they wouldn't be the gold
It
predators,
wouldn't be
that's
the
the
gold
thing.
right, right.
Yeah.
I would have the $320, like, exclusive, like, the real ones. I would put them in, like, they'd be right back there. I'd look at them every, like, 70 days, blow the dust off them, put them right back on the shelf.
Right.
Devin's wearing them 15 years from now because I passed them down to him,
That's
and
right.
it's like, and it's a little slushy outside.
Right. That's right. It's I gotta get somewhere in a blizzard, and it's
Or just
that,
go
like, layer of ice over top of the snow.
Right.
or just going studs up on one of the boys, just to remind them. Remind them.
We do play inside soccer, as we call it, down in the basement. I got the gym mats covering the whole big space down there, and we do play, and it gets, especially between that, I'm ref. They used to play against me, they don't want to anymore, but now they play against each other, and I'm ref, and, like,
It's a derby
they
every time.
yeah, every time, the intensity, it's the thing is it starts easy, right? So I'm not calling that much, and then it's, like, out of control, and I gotta start calling more aggressively, and it's tough. It actually I have thought about it watching matches, like, you really are doing it strategically, I think. You have to you have to pick your spots so that you're very explicitly setting a tone for the thing. Not because this was or wasn't a foul, but because, like, you need them to know that that foul was over the line, but they can get away with a little bit over here because, in the interest of a lively game.
Now I need to know: are there cards? Is there a
There are
card system?
cards. There are
How
cards.
many? How many cards can I get? I mean, it's only
It's
one on
it's
one. What
normal
happens if I
rules,
get
yeah.
red? What happens if I just go studs up? What happens?
Straight
Straight
red,
red.
And
rematch.
then what?
You start it over.
Oh,
Suspended for the next match.
I
Right. Empty goal.
I begin so many red cards. That this reminds me of like because I've talked about this with Jay. Like growing up with so many cousins like around me, there was
Mm.
always like especially with the boy cousins, like we just always constantly going at each other. Like just like in the basement, it's a ping pong match. The ping pong match turns into an absolute fist fight. Like fist fights of going into it. Then after that, like that gets put away, and then we have a sock, and then the sock becomes like the football. And then now we're playing sock football. And now at first it was two-hand touch, but then I got pushed into the drywall, make a hole. And now I'm gonna get in trouble anyway. So now I have nothing to lose. So I'm out here just like Sean Taylor, just looking for somebody to go through. I'm just going full speed at people. And like you're just like, what are we doing? But it's like primordial. Just I just want to win. I just want to beat the living hell out of my cousin. Like and like I love that you're doing this with the boys. I'm like it's continuing. It's continuing.
It's a good time. But see, I never experienced that's what's interesting is seeing it in them. It's like uncomfortable for me because, I grew up, I had a older sibling who wasn't always around and we didn't get along. And I didn't have cousins I saw very often. I had one cousin I saw basically ever, and I think I saw him twice between birth and age 18. So other than that, it was like I was in this little peaceful community of like children of hippies, and there was like none of this happening. And so
Violent.
I like don't understand it when I see it in them. I'm like, where's the line where they're happy about this and enjoying this and will look back on this fondly versus like, one of them's got a scar on his face that the other put there at some point. How many of those is okay?
The answer is that it just keeps going. And if they're willing to keep playing, then that means that they're loving it. Because if they actually hated the other person or resented it,
Right.
they wouldn't even go there. They wouldn't go there. But if they do, then like they absolutely love it. Because like we would get like when we would get into the fist fights, like you know, an hour later, we'd be upstairs, watching some like crappy thing on Nickelodeon, and we were like, it's fine. And then
Yeah.
and then the next day, I couldn't wait to wake up the next day and call my cousin and be like, hey, let's go, come on, hey Mike, come on through. Like it's just like when you grow up with boys, I don't know, you just like you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to
Yeah.
like get to the point where you almost kill each other, then hug it out, and then walk away, and then have a sandwich.
I think you just perfectly described like Oasis getting back together.
In high school, senior skip gate doesn't count. Did you ditch school? Like, was this a thing that you did, or did you just always go to school every single day?
I'm gonna let Devin answer this first.
Yeah. I spent some time outside the building off the property. Yeah. Yeah, I did. We used to run to
I had you as
7-Eleven.
yes. By the way, I had you as a deadlock. I would have put all my money that you definitely did school.
Yeah. Yep. When you had to ride the line, I was in private school at that point, and so there's like where the edge is, where like the trouble gets more real after a certain volume of it. So you come back on the other side of the line for a while, and everybody goes out without you. And like, I can't today. Like, you know, there'd be consequences, and then you kind of wait it out. But really, you're like filling your quota.
Yeah, junior year is the year that matters. You got to show up for your junior year. But if you've taken care of everything in your junior year, you can slack off in your senior year. I was a different student, not a different student like grades wise, but junior year I think I had perfect attendance, and senior year I almost definitely skipped some days. I can't exactly remember which days I skipped, but I'm certain I did. And then I got suspended and I got several days of detention when I was a senior.
Any good stories? None. Good. Gotten
Uh,
out the Jersey Shore, or something like that.
when when I was a senior, my friends and I, like we were the prank kids. Um, and there were, I mean, just endless things that we did that year. But the ones we got in trouble for were we started putting up flyers for my high school for a bowling club at my high school, which did not exist. And at first, it was just like, let's see if we can get a bunch of kids to go to like to stay after school and like go to a certain room after school, like meet up for bowlers club that like doesn't exist. And then it turned into my friend Steve, who worked at the Goodwill, would bring what like anytime a bowling ball would show up at the Goodwill, he would like grab it and then bring it into school. And we would just be like bowling in the high school or bowling in the hallways, like during homeroom. I remember like my friends threw a bowling ball through like the front door, like the glass front door through the drop ceiling. We would like throw it down the stairs. We would like set
Where
up
is
trash
this
cans and
Jay?
like bowl like
Where is this Jay? What happened to this Jay? Can we bring him back? What is happening? I
that
never
was
heard this story.
2 d
I
I
never
think
heard
I
any
got
of these.
2 days. Did I get detention for that? I think I got detention for that, and then I got suspended. So, they put you all in the gym for the big, like, group class picture, and you take the one picture. There's, like, the one serious picture where you're all just, like, sitting there, and then there's, like, the crazy picture where they, like, give you signs to hold up, and there's, like, balloons and glitter and streamers and whatever, and they made the mistake of giving me and my friends it wasn't I mean, I was they didn't give it to me, they gave it to one of my friends, sign to hold up that said, like, "Class of 1997," or "Seniors," or whatever the hell it said. And my friend, like, immediately grabbed the sign and flipped it over and grabbed a big black marker, and I think wrote Satan in big letters and 666, and we all held it up, and anybody who had their hand on the sign got a day of in-school suspension.
Like proper out of school or like in
In
school?
school. No, it's in school. Yeah.
Okay.
So in theory, if people showed up for bowling club and y'all just weren't there, would they not just start a bowling club then?
Yeah, I mean, one would think,
Yeah,
it
but that
yeah.
didn't happen. It didn't
No,
materialize.
no.
Yeah.
Was there a mission statement for it, or was it just like we didn't get this far?
No, it was I believe it was "Watch your ankles, asshole."